Today on Focused Hands, hub assembly. Stay tuned.
Bye.
Alright, Focus Crew, so the very first thing you're going to want to do is obviously get the car jacked up off the ground. As you can see here, jack, tire, tertiary, and jack stand, tertiary, and secondary jack on the rear frame. So I jacked up both cars at the same time. This is my very first time doing that too, by the way. But anyway, to stay on task here. So you want to get the wheels off so you get access to the rotor and the brake system. And I'm mad that I'm taking this apart again after I changed my brakes, but that's what we're supposed to have to do to get to the rotor. So the thing we're going to do, instead of messing with the brake system, we're going to take off the caliper bolts, caliper bracket bolts, and that whole assembly can be moved off and give us access to the rotor. We remove the rotor, have access to the hub that we're trying to get to. So let's get going. All right, so let's begin. Now, if you remember from the brake job video, if you haven't watched that, please go watch it. We need to get these 13 millimeter caliper bracket bolts out, and I need to go get an extension because I can't reach back here because of these hydraulic brake hose in the way. I need an extension to get to that bolt right there. So let me go grab that. All right, so these bolts have Loctite on them, so we're gonna have to dig deep in here and grab it. All right, let's give it a whirl. Dig deep. That Loctite is so great, unbelievable. Move it back a little bit and give it another shot. From this angle. There we go. Jeez. Yeah, so I believe in Loctite. I can tell you that right now. So let me finish screwing this off and we'll start on the second one. Okay, so now that we got the caliper bolts out, let me get these all situated here. So now that we got the caliper bolts out, we should be able to pull the rotor and the caliper at the same time to get it off, and or just pull up on the caliper bracket, or excuse me, the caliper itself, and just let it hang over here. I'm not putting too much tension on that line, so that's okay. And voila, the rotor is off. And as long as you don't move anything with the brake system, you don't have to go and push the piston back in. So let's hope I didn't move anything. All right, next we have to get this wheel bearing cap cover off to get access to the 30 millimeter bolt that's behind it, and you will need a breaker bar. So stay tuned. All right, so you're gonna need to make an indent here so that you can get into that slot. So just take your flathead screwdriver and make an indent. Well, don't mess up the cap like I just did. You want to get in good enough so you can pry it out. Like that right there, and twist, and it's out. All right, so now we need that 30 millimeter socket to go ahead and knock this off with the breaker bar, because you're gonna need a breaker bar to get it off. And we'll be in good shape, so stay tuned. Here's the thing, I actually have a impact gun that can do this relatively easy, but I don't want to bend the retaining nut that's in here, so I want to make sure that it'll come off just by getting on this and making sure that it will come off with the breaker bar. And just like that, the breaker bar is just great. It's like one of the best tools I've ever had the privilege of owning. Whoever came with the breaker bar design, bless you. Once I give this a couple of turns, then I'll switch over to the impact to speed up the process. Just like so. Try not to drop it. All right, now with that out of the way, you should be able to pull this off. And remember, you have a sensor back here, but it's right there. So you want to remember to take this retainer, but I'll show you that here in the next section. So to get this off, just pull it, and that's that. The hub is off. All right, let's go over to the table and I'll show you what you need to have back on the car. Stay tuned. All right, so with the, with the old unit, what you're gonna wanna have, and bring this new unit over here. So this is the new unit I picked up. Very nice and clean. From the old unit, you're gonna want this retaining cap for the sensor. If you have ABS, make sure that you put this thing back on, otherwise your anti-lock brake system will act up, and that'll be a bad day for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this extension, I'm going to put it right on the edge of the retainer and just knock it out off of the side, going around, knock it off of its slot and going around the whole hub here to get it off. And I'm going to show you that process to let you know that you can do it. So let me set up, stay tuned. All right, so I have my extension. I'm going to put it right on that edge and just tap it out and just rotate as you go. Don't need to be Hercules. Just move around it and knock it out. It's almost up. And it's off. See? It's that easy. Alright, so conveniently I set up a work booth for adding the retainer back onto the car. And I just took the tires, the old tires out, which that fits in pretty well. And I'll take the retainer, put it down right on top. And just like I took it off, I'll take the same tool, but don't hit this part of, let me bring you in so you can see it. Don't hit this part because you could damage it, and you definitely don't want to damage it because that will probably mess up your ABS sensing. There's a little lip right next to it that you can hit down on, and you'll go around this whole thing hitting on that part of the retainer and not on the I guess this is a magnetic part. So yeah, just be careful. Let's do it. All right, I'll say that looks pretty good. So that looks pretty good. So we'll take this and fit it back on the car. Stay tuned. Okay, so one of the things you want to do before you put anything back in your car, you definitely want to get in here and wipe down your spindle shaft of any contaminants. Just take something and get all that old grease off. I'm going to use silicone for this area. The Motorcraft silicone I showed you in the episode with the brake change. So I'm going to grab that and then we'll just slide the hub right back on. Stay tuned. Alright, so here's that Motorcraft silicone. We'll push a bead of it right on here. And then we'll just work it around. Take another little bead of it. Work it down on the bottom. You want to get all this little surface where the hub's going to sit at. I'm going to get this all beaded up with silicone so that no metal on metal is rubbing, because that obviously is bad for your hubs. Makes your hub go out faster. The hub came pre-greased on the inside where the bearing is, so you don't have to worry about that. So now you just have to push it back, and there you go. It sounds real good. All right, so we'll take our retaining nut, push it back on, and let me pull you out here and spin it back into place. And we will take the wrench or ratchet and ratchet this all the way down, not using the impact wrench. I don't use an impact wrench for this either. And then we'll use a torque wrench and torque it down to 160 foot-pounds while turning the hub to even the tightness across all points of the hub surface. That's the code. So stay tuned. All right, so got it. And let's just work this back down into place. All right, we'll get the torque wrench and torque it down to spec. Stay tuned. All right, so remember, while torquing this, you need to spin the hub. Otherwise, you'll have some issues. Jeez. Oh my goodness. 160 foot-pounds is a lot. Oh my gosh. I gotta do a couple extra turns to fully get it, even though it clicked. According to the tech, check my lines, make sure I'm not leaking. All right, so that is how you do that. And now we'll just take our cap, make sure there's no dust and contaminants in here, and just push this back into place. Get a couple of light taps on it and it'll be done. I need my hammer. There we go. So we just reverse the installation process and we'll be done. So let me do that, and like magic, here we go. So let's get the wheels back on and we can call this job complete, and make sure we torque everything down too. So let's hop to it. Torque to 100 foot-pounds. All right, and like that, the job is complete. So there you go. That's how you change the hub assembly on a 2005 Ford Focus. This applies to, I believe, I'm gonna say this applies to 05 through 11, and maybe even from 04 back to 2000. I don't see this process being much different on any of these years. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Focused Hands here, signing off. Peace.